Welcome to Random Stories Hub, where gripping tales come to life. Today we dive into a dark and intense crime thriller, The Silent Witness. Follow Detective Emma Grant as she unravels a web of deception, betrayal, and murder. Will she bring the killer to justice, or will the darkness consume her? Stay tuned to find out. Detective Emma Grant leaned over the cluttered desk in the dimly lit precinct, her eyes tracing the intricate web of photos and notes pinned on the corkboard. The cold case that had haunted her for years had suddenly roared back to life. It was a brutal string of murders, and each victim had one thing in common: a single black rose left at the scene. 5 years had passed since the last killing, and everyone believed the nightmare was over. But last night, another body was found, and this time, it was personal. Emma's phone buzzed on the desk, jarring her from her thoughts. She picked it up, seeing an unfamiliar number. Her instincts told her to answer. The voice on the other end was low, almost a whisper, but familiar. "Detective Grant, you've been looking in the wrong places," the voice said, sending chills down her spine. "If you want the truth, meet me at Pier 17 tonight. Come alone." Before she could respond, the line went dead. Emma stood there, her heart pounding. She recognized the voice: Tom Harris, an investigative journalist who had gone missing 2 years ago while digging into the very case that now sat on her desk. Against her better judgment, she decided to follow the lead. She knew she was walking into a trap, but she had no choice. This was the break she needed. If Tom was still alive, he might hold the key to solving the case. The night was cold, and the fog rolled in thick as Emma approached Pier 17. The area was deserted, the only sound the faint lapping of waves against the dock. She kept her hand on her holster, every muscle in her body tense as she scanned the area. A flicker of movement caught her eye. There, at the edge of the pier, stood a shadowy figure. It was Tom. He looked gaunt, his clothes disheveled, and his eyes wild. He gestured for her to come closer. "I found out who's behind it all," Tom whispered urgently as she approached. "But they're watching. They always are." "Who?" Emma pressed, but before he could answer, a shot rang out. Tom staggered backward, clutching his chest. Emma drew her gun, spinning around to locate the shooter, but the fog swallowed everything. She knelt beside Tom, blood pooling beneath him. His eyes were wide with fear, and with his last breath, he whispered a single name, one that made Emma's blood run cold. It was the name of her own partner, Detective Ryan Cole. As Tom's life slipped away, Emma's mind raced. Could Ryan really be behind the murders? She had known him for years, trusted him with her life, but now everything felt like a lie. She had to be careful. Ryan would be watching her every move. She needed to gather evidence, but she couldn't do it alone. Emma reached out to an old contact in the FBI, someone she knew she could trust. Together, they quietly began digging into Ryan's past, retracing every step of the investigation. What they found was disturbing. Evidence had been manipulated, witnesses had been silenced, and the black roses. They were a calling card, not just for the killer, but for a network of corrupt officers working together to cover their tracks. The closer Emma got to the truth, the more dangerous it became. She knew she was being followed. Her phone was likely tapped, and her home was no longer safe. She couldn't trust anyone at the precinct, and with every passing day, the walls closed in around her. In a final desperate move, Emma decided to confront Ryan. She arranged to meet him at a remote location under the guise of needing his help. But as they stood face to face in the abandoned warehouse, she could see it in his eyes. The guilt, the fear, and the darkness that he had kept hidden for so long. "Why Ryan?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Ryan smirked, a cold and twisted expression that sent shivers down her spine. "You'll never understand, Emma. Some things are bigger than both of us. It's not just about money or power. It's about control. And you're in over your head." In that moment, Emma knew there was no reasoning with him. She had her backup waiting just outside, but Ryan was unpredictable. She had to act fast. With a sudden move, Ryan lunged at her, but Emma was ready. She fired her weapon, the sound echoing through the empty warehouse. Ryan collapsed, clutching his side, his smirk replaced with a grimace of pain. As the FBI agents stormed in, Emma stood over Ryan, her heart heavy with the weight of betrayal. She had cracked the case, but at a cost she hadn't anticipated. The network was dismantled, and justice would be served, but the scars of the investigation would remain with her forever. As she walked out of the warehouse into the cold night air, she couldn't help but glance over her shoulder. The black rose still haunted her thoughts, the silent witness to all the secrets that had been buried deep, waiting to be uncovered. Thank you for watching The Silent Witness. If you enjoyed this suspenseful story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Random Stories Hub for more thrilling tales. Hit the bell icon to never miss an update and share this video with fellow crime story lovers. Remember, the truth is always out there. You just have to find it. Until next time, stay curious